Hello everyone, happy friggin' holidays. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get my favorite classic glamorous holiday look. I wear this look pretty much every year for a party or a dinner or something. Obviously I have no idea what my festivities will be looking like this year, but I like to do this look nonetheless. And hey, you can always save this video for next year. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, let's get into it. So I'm going to start by priming with my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. If I were actually doing like this makeup for real life, I would probably use my Hourglass, but you know, I'm not going to use my $50 primer for makeup that I'm going to wash off in like 2 hours. So, you know, no shade, but that's what's going on. So I just like to apply this with a brush, as we know, for sanitary purposes, and just make sure you're getting it all over and working it in enough so that, you know, your makeup can kind of glide over it. How are we looking? Great. Do we look primed? Do we look amazing? Super. For foundation, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Born to Glow, and I'm in the shade Vanilla, and I'm going to be using my favorite Luxie flat top foundation brush. So I love this foundation because it's so glowy, but I also, especially if I were like going to a party, I would want to set my makeup really well so that I don't have to worry about touching up at a party, because I just don't like that. I don't want to touch anything up besides maybe my lipstick, you know? So I like to do a glowier foundation if I know I'm going to be using a little more powder, so that they can kind of counterbalance each other. So I literally just squeeze a little bit of this right onto the face because I just think that's the easiest way to put it on. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. It feels like unnecessary to squeeze it onto my finger. So I love this foundation so much. I think it gives really good coverage too. So if you are into like a more glam, full coverage vibe, I think that this is perfect because it's not super matte. I feel like so many full coverage foundations are also matte, and I'm like, why can't I have like a glow? Ooh, my hair is getting stuck in the foundation. Attractive. You know, why can't I have a glow but also have flawless skin? You know, basically just make me look completely unrealistic to everyone is how I want to look. Alright. So then I'll just kind of go and press in as well. So I don't know what's going on. I'm actually worried that the putty primer is breaking me out because I have this little breakout on my forehead. And I'm not sure what I've done to anger my skin. But also it's the winter and it's just not a great, particularly fun time for our skin. So it could be that too. So I'm just taking it down underneath the jaw to make sure we're really blended out. So for concealer, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I'm in the shade Light Sand. I feel like this might be a pinch too dark, but the thing is, when I pick out my shades online, sometimes the pale shades look so pale, and I'm like, am I really that light? But maybe I am. So because this covers a ton, I'm only going to use a little bit. I'm going to use one little dot under the eyes, because if you remember from my e.l.f. full face video, a little goes a ridiculously long way. So I'm going in with the Sigma Precision Flat P80 brush. I'm just working that right into the inner corner underneath my eye. I feel like that just kind of gives like a little bit of a natural brightening if you're someone who likes that. I'm, you know, pretty ambivalent about it. I will say this concealer is a pinch yellow, even though it was described for someone with like, you know, me, light and neutral. So I think I don't know, maybe they added a pinch of yellow for that brightening look. I don't really know. I'm not the concealer expert, but I am going to try to get a little more coverage on that little blemish I'm working with. And then just kind of blending up to maybe bring a little brightness to the center of the forehead. I love brushes like this for concealer. I don't know. I feel like people are still very much in like beauty blender land, but I love brushes. Alright, I think this looks good. Alright, so I'm going to let this soak in for just a second. So while I'm letting it absorb into my skin a little more before I powder, I'm going to just go in with my nude pencil. The NYX Wonder Pencil is just the best nude liner out there. I feel like it's so reliable. It's so cheap too. I think this is $4.99. So, yeah. And it comes in, I think, 3 colors, which is awesome. Because a nude liner is going to look different for all of us. Like, this color, unlike someone with extremely deep dark skin, would look, you know, just about as unnatural as using white. Which, granted, I think white liner still has its time and place, and I still like it, but if you're going for something a little more, I don't know, believable looking, I guess, maybe is the word. I think a more nude tone is what you want to do. So I like a nude tone for most of the time. For my face powder, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Halo Glow. I am so scared to open this because I know it's going to be a mess. Let's see. Obviously, I'm in the shade Light. Oh, not that bad. So I'm going to tap a little into my cap. Oh, God. And I'm going to just, you know, do the little classic swirl and tap. And just kind of going all over with it. Making sure we get underneath. So does everyone take their foundation down to their neck? Because that feels like so much makeup to me. I feel like your face should hopefully be a pretty close match for your neck, although I feel like your neck is very light because it's recessed, it's kind of covered. And especially in the winter, even more so if we're wearing scarves or turtlenecks. So I feel like as long as you have a pretty good match, I personally I don't know. Now, I guess maybe, well, no, if you tan, you would just make your face a little bit darker. I don't know. I've never been like a foundation down to the neck person. I just think it's like a little intense. All right, yay. I'm just gonna go in with just like a smaller brush, a little tiny bit, and just go under my eyes to make sure that the concealer under there is very nicely set as well, so that we're not a greasy mess, especially because it is a hydrating concealer. It might have a bit more tendency to kind of crease or get a little shiny or icky because, you know, it's hydrating. It's not like locking in like a matte concealer might. Now I'm just going to add a little extra to where that blemish is. Okay. Ta-da! So I'm thinking I want a little bit more of a glow back into my skin. So I figured I'm holding this amazing Hourglass palette. What are these top shades? So there's like dim light and diffused light up here. These are like permanent shades. So I think this palette itself was limited edition, but like you can get the products that are in here individually. So I'm going to go ahead and use them. So I'm going to go in with the Morphe E48, which is a nice synthetic guy, and I'm going to go in, I think, with, let's see, what is this one? This is the finishing powder in Dim Light. And I'm really going to load up the brush because these are so subtle and natural that I want to be able to see the glow. I'm really going to do a lot on my forehead because I think that that'll be a really pretty place for that to accentuate. Just to add a little extra glow back into the skin. But because it's a powder, we're locking everything in. Yay, I think it looks really nice. It just adds like a little something to make you look really just like blurred and perfected. I love this stuff. I love Hourglass. I wish I could buy more of their stuff, but frankly, they're having some issues expanding their shade range, so I'm holding off on purchasing from them for a while, to be frank, because that's important to me. I could put this stuff all over my face. If you guys know a good dupe for the Hourglass products, let me know. For contour, you already know, NYX Taupe. This is literally at the moment the only contour product I own, but it's my favorite, so I don't care. But it's getting harder to find. I don't know if they're discontinuing it or what, but I wanted to do something a little different for blush today, so I'm going to be using the new Glossier Cloud Paint in e.l.f. And this is really pretty. It kind of gives you that fresh out of the cold, rosy cheek look, but it's super pigmented and dark, so we'll see if I can make this look good. We'll see. Oh my god, and it's so hard because you have to squeeze just the tiniest bit. Literally the tiniest bit. When you're as fair as me, at least, I should say. And I'm going to start working on the other side. But you got to work quickly because it does kind of set down, which is good. Like, you know, I like that it doesn't say super slick and like cream-like, but it's a little, you know, intense. Alright, actually that came out much better than the last time I used it. So I'm going to go in on my other cheek and finish up over there. Alright, so it looks really pretty and blended out, but it is a little strong just because I'm so fair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my foundation brush and just kind of pat it over the top of this. And there, I think that looks perfect. I'm into it. So if you try anything from Glossier, I think it should be the Cloud Paints. And honestly, I want to see a highlighter in this formula. I think that would be awesome. I'm not a big cream highlighter person, but if Glossier made them in that kind of formula, I would become a cream highlighter person. Speaking of highlighter, that's what's next. So I'm going to be going in with JD Glow Marilyn. Oh my god. You guys, how gorgeous is this highlight? I love a white gold highlight for holiday time. So I will say, you want to tap off the excess. Normally I don't with highlighter, but this is so pigmented and pretty metallic, but in a pretty way. Like, it's not, you'll see. And this is the Spectrum B05. So yeah, this highlighter's pretty amazing. Obviously I love the shade name. So I'm just gonna, you know, slowly build it just so that I don't get that like metallic stripe kind of look for the nose and the cupid's bow and a little on the chin. And then we're gonna blend the nose highlight up. Really try to keep a steady hand with your nose highlight, because the straighter your nose highlight is, the straighter it will make your nose look. I don't think my nose is particularly crooked, but you know, I don't know. I'm ambivalent about my nose. I think if given the choice, maybe I would change it. I don't know. I just like want a little more definition on my nose bridge, but I also don't want a nose contour. So maybe I'm just lazy. I think that's really what we're gleaning from this discussion. Oh, I just forgot to tap off the excess, and now you can see how metallic that is. So I'm just gonna tuck my hair back properly, and we're just gonna work that in and blend it out so that it looks softer. Much better. Alright, I think we're looking fabulous. I'm into it. I'm going to prime my lids with the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden. This is my favorite of the Urban Decay primer line. It is just, oh, I just love her. And yeah, I don't know, it gives kind of a concealed effect to the lid, which I think is nice. I think I have like a little bit, I think my lids are a little pinker or redder than my face. So, you know, this just kind of neutralizes. Oh, should I put my primer under? Yeah, I guess that's fine. It's fine. I always put primer underneath. I feel like I don't always see people use it underneath. Maybe because they're concealing. and using powder, but I don't know. Concealer is not the same as eyeshadow primer, and I like really, really strongly believe that. So. Also, I prefer to apply eyeshadow primer with my finger and not a brush, but sometimes I wonder if the oils that we have in our like hands and our fingertips, I wonder if I'm like undermining the work of the primer when I do that. I don't know. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to go do my brows off camera really quick, and I'll be right back. I'm going to use the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. I think any palette that has just like really soft, nice, natural shades in your kind of skin tone range is ideal. You definitely don't have to use this. I needed to use something that was still available, because if you wanted to use the products I'm using, you know, way back in the day, I would have used my MAC shadows for this before I went cruelty free, because that was my jam. So actually, I love this little brush in this palette. I know people really don't like them, but I think it works. So for my lower lash line, I'm going to be going in with a little bit of bronze, and a little bit, I think I want to use a little bit of mulberry, but like a little bit. So I'm going to tap the little end of the brush into mulberry and just work it along the lash line. I think mulberry is a really pretty color. It has just that pinch of red in it that I think is going to make it really flow with the rest of the look. So after I've applied mulberry, I'm just going to use bronze. And work that kind of over about 3/4 of the way in. But I want to leave that outer corner the darkest part. Then I'm going to go back in with Fairy. I should probably get a fresh brush for this. And just put it right in the very, very inner part to really bring that lightness. So up top, I'm going to start with the Morphe E22, and I'm going to use Orange Soda. I pretty much always use Orange Soda as my transition shade when I use this palette. It's just perfect for it. So your transition shade, you don't really want to bring far down on the lid. You want to be working it upward instead. And just make sure that this is very blended out. That's the most important aspect, because this is going to help all the other colors blend in together. So you want to have a smooth, even blend across the lid, or you know, this whole, you know, crease, brow bone area, I guess I should say, so that everything on top of it will blend smoothly as well. Next, I'm going to go back with my Kryptonite, the little palette brush, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of mulberry again, and we're just going to apply this in the outer corner. A very small amount, because this is not like a super bold eye look. You want just enough that you have like some definition and pop to the eye, but not so much that, you know, it's becoming this whole, you know, this whole bold, dramatic eye look. And then I will just blend it in kind of a downward angle to kind of give it that nice V shape that I want. And just making sure it stays right in the crease. We don't want it to go much higher than the crease of the eye. So now to kind of bring this all together, we want a sort of mid-tone shade. So I'm going to be going in with Burnt Orange, which is right below Orange Soda. And this is a Sigma E25, a classic. So this is for like my skin tone. If you're darker than me, maybe you want to use burnt orange as your transition and then go in with sienna or rustic for this step. I feel like mulberry is pretty dark, like, and it can be built up, so if you're deeper than me, just build up mulberry a little more and a little deeper. And we're just gonna, oh, I did not tap off the excess. We're just gonna work that through the crease and just kind of blend it out all over everything. We're just gonna just soften the mulberry shade just a little bit, which is what we want. We just want it to give us that nice little bit of definition in that outer corner area. Cool. So just working through the crease a couple of times. And then just because I always think that your transition shade is always a little bit lost during these steps, I'm going to go back in with the brush that I used, tap it back into orange soda, just slightly working it above. This can also help soften things if you've maybe brought up the darker colors higher than you want. You can use your transition shade to essentially kind of erase the mistake. So I'm just going to go back in with the E25 and just kind of blend back and forth a little bit to really make sure that it's the look that I want. There we go. So for my lid color, I'm going to be using kind of a combination of a few shades, and I'm going to use the Sigma E32. And so I'm going to start with Tempera, which I believe is also in the Modern Renaissance palette. You could probably also do this look with the Modern Renaissance palette if you have that one as well. I think I have a hair on my lip. I hate that feeling. So I'm going to be applying this color from the inner corner to then cover that part of the lid that we basically didn't put the crease colors on. Try not to go too far to your outer corner. I think I did a little bit on my left eye, so I'm just going to go in with my brush that I had used with mulberry and just blend it back out a little. Okay, there we go. Crisis averted. So then we want to really emphasize the center of the lid. I think that that'll just look really pretty. I'm going to use this M508, I think. I can't find this other brush that I really want to use for this. So we're going to use this M508 from Morphe, and I'm going to go in with, I'm kind of just basically layer glistening and fairy because I like them both. But I think I might want to use a little bit more of glistening. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I love glistening so much. Maybe that's all I want to use. It's so hard to say. It's such a pretty, pretty shade. So I'm just going to tap a little bit into fairy and put it more towards the very middle of the lid. And then just kind of pat that on. And then just like before, I'm going to go in with our kind of outer corner brush and blend that little edge one more time. I think that looks really nice. For my inner corner color, I'm going to go back in with JD Glow Marilyn and an E36 from Morphe. Just to add that nice bright pop right in the center. For mascara today, I'm going to be using the Stila Huge Extreme Lash. This is one of my all-time favorites. I discovered it on accident. I don't even remember what prompted me to buy it the first time. what was it? I honestly can't remember, but yeah, I love this mascara. You can also add falsies. I personally think sometimes like a really big falsie on a kind of a simple classic eye is a little distracting, so I think what would be really pretty would be a half lash at the end, or a little individual lash inserts would be really pretty too. But if you are just like a mascara diehard like I am, a couple extra coats of a bold mascara will also do a really nice job. And don't worry, I won't make you sit through my entire mascara application. I don't have any really secret tricks. So our final step for the look is our lip color, and this of course is the most important part. Obviously you can pick any favorite red that you have in your stash, but if you're looking for a new red, this is the best holiday red of all time. Of course I did also buy a bunch of those Besame red lips if you saw on my Instagram. I also highly recommend those, but if you want to go the extra festive step, the Stila, what do they call this? The Stay All Day Liquid Lipstick in Beso Shimmer is the ultimate holiday red. I once wore this to I think, was it a holiday party for work? When I worked this fashion job, which was brutal. But one of my coworkers said that like the lipstick reminded her of like a gorgeous like red glass ornament. Like it just looks, I'm usually hesitant about a metallic liquid lip, but this color is everything, and I really like the Stila formula. So because I don't have a kind of a shiny or sparkly red lip liner, I'm just going to go in with this. So the last little trick I like to do for my lipstick is I will take a really tiny little brush and a little tiny bit of concealer and just kind of sharpen the outer corners of my bottom lip for that really perfect pouty shape. The brush I've been loving lately to do that is the Sigma Waterline brush. Actually, this is the just the E17, excuse me, not 217. I've got Mac brain, what can I say? So I'm just gonna literally just like dot that on the wand of my concealer, and then just the most important part of this is to make sure that the liquid lipstick is mostly dry or set so that you don't smear it. I have done that before where I've been like, oh god, I need to edit this line. I went crazy, or you know, it just looks a little uneven. And I've like immediately gone in with this and just like smeared this disgusting concoction of liquid lipstick and concealer all over my face, and it's not a good look. Alright everyone, this is our completed classic holiday glam look. I do this look all the time, every year around Christmas time. Obviously, this year it's going to be different with not really having, you know, parties or really huge family dinners or whatever you do. Your plans might be looking a little different this year, but I think that, you know, allowing ourselves to still have some of our traditions or rituals in a, you know, healthy and safe way is a great way to feel like the holidays aren't totally a bust this year, because I know it's been hard. It's been hard for me too. So if you liked this video and if you like this look, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't yet, because I try to upload every week, sometimes even twice a week, okay? I'm just, what can I say? If you don't mind turning on the bell button too, because YouTube's algorithm, I guess it's not showing people the content that they subscribe to or something. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand why YouTube wants to like undermine the creators that make YouTube what it is. But hey, I can't control that, but what I can control is asking you guys to turn on that bell. So once again, thank you so much for watching. If you've subscribed, it seriously means more to me than you could ever know. I hope you're having an amazing holiday season, and if you aren't, just know that I'm sending you love and festive feelings and happiness, because you deserve that. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!